name is Aaron Msoke. I am a senior associate for special projects at Upskill. We equip young people, youth between the ages of 18 to 35. That's the Ugandan youth. We equip them with today's most in-demand and ready-to-work skills. Today's conversation is around how you adapt your digital marketing strategy to COVID-19 times. Our speaker today comes from Kenya, Nairobi. She's Janet Machuka. She is a social media marketing strategist and a trainer. She's also the founder of Africa Quick Chat. Janet, why is digital marketing so important, especially in times like these that we live in?
Interesting. Us businesses and individuals being on the digital space, especially during this COVID, for us, it was more of information. Can we gain the information of what is happening around us now that we are not traveling a lot, now that we are not going to our markets a lot? Secondly, how can we position ourselves to be able to be seen and to be interacted with? Not just to be there, seen, interacted with. For the businesses, they want to be seen. And this is why I have been telling most of the businesses, especially those that jumped into social media during this pandemic, it's not about directly going to the digital space to get customers. It's about the relationship that you're growing with the people. It's about what you are feeding them. It's about the information you're feeding them. At the end of the day, that's what it's going to make them to buy from your site, to buy from your brand, to pay for your services, you see. And then one of the most important way and why brands should think about representing their brands, especially on social media, is that human connection. And that is where you include in the empathy, and that is where you include in the emotion, and that is where you include now that aspect of I see you, I know you are there, I can tell how you're feeling, I know. That is now the empathy part of it. So businesses have been there, we are there to show that yes, we understand we're in this kind of pandemic. Everything has changed. Things have gone wrong from how we thought about our year's resolutions to look like. So how can we make people still feel calm, feel like they are cared for, at the same time they are fed with the exact quality that we used to give them? Not that us transitioning to the digital space that you're not offering the same. And the most part of it I loved is it has really taught us on how brands can be humane. It's not just about your products, it's not about your businesses, it's about that person you're talking to. Remember, even the social media managers behind the brands, they're not robots, they're human beings. So that concept really moved me a lot when it comes to this period of COVID and digital marketing.
What strategies should small businesses, I can even say for even digital marketers, what strategies should businesses or even young people use to survive and strive in the age of COVID-19?
The most effective that I can tell you for now is people feature people. And people feature people because of the businesses they have, not people featuring businesses or corporate brands and then they feature the brand, personal brands. They look for an individual. The individual is the one who is going to represent the company, who is going to represent the small business. Because people get connected to people if your content or whatever you are sharing triggers their emotions, connects with them in a human way, and at the same time gives them an opportunity to connect, interact. Now, that's where we usually say social media and digital is not just a place you go post and move on. You have to be there to engage. And when it comes to engagement, it's not about the media, the way mainstream media does. They communicate. One-sided communication.
So there's a difference. Communicate.
There's a difference. Engage. Instead of thinking of a very big budget to be seen more, can you collaborate? Yeah, can you collaborate with these communities? Can you find, of course, relevant communities, not just any community, relevant communities? Can you collaborate with them so that you can be able to present something more meaningful or more outstanding, and also create that relationship with other people? Something else, join communities. If there is the best way to go about building yourself, I think most of the people have witnessed and seen this through Africa T-shirt. There's a lot of growth that has happened through, as for individuals or for brands who have been showing up. When you're looking at investing on social media, there's a lot that you have to do in order, one, to gain the trust of people. Two, to be able to create a network, and by this sense is a meaningful network. At the same time, to be able to develop people or to create an audience of people that have realized your value, and now they can be able to invest in it monetarily, as in using their money. So look at this point. You have given Janet Machuka some work to do. And at the end of the month, you are targeting, like your own target is just, you want like 500 sales. Because that is where you feel like the value of your money is going. But what about the content that she's constantly creating? The audiences she's building, the networks she's building, the collaborations she's trying to create on social media, the people the traffic or people that she's trying to push to your brand so that they can see your brand, they can know your brand, they can get information about what you do. At the same time, they can be able to get interest or ask questions out of it. So when it comes to valuation of social media, I usually look at it from different angles, and that is why we usually make sure that we have done our reports, because we want you to see how the analytics are like. Because in one way or the other, these are the audiences we are building through to a point that one day they will be customers, and that is why I call it a journey.
Which of the social media platforms do you recommend for small businesses to focus on, or we have to be on all?
There is no better than the other one social media space or platform. That's what I usually say, because there's somebody who is doing exactly what I'm doing, exactly the services that I'm offering, but is doing best on Facebook, not on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, I'm doing best through it. Somebody is on LinkedIn too, doing the best through it. Someone is on Instagram doing the best through it. The main thing should be, how are you cultivating that brand? How are you growing it? How are you approaching people? What kind of relationships are you building? What impact are you giving to people or showing them? So each and every social media platform is valuable, depending on how are you crafting your brand, to building it to a point that you are also making those people who are following you or who are your audience to see the value that you're bringing to them. But when it comes to the small businesses, I think that's where you need to figure out what kind of statistics are you getting from Facebook? What is your target audience? How can you know that my target audience is on Twitter and not on Facebook and not on Instagram? And also, what kind of business are you looking at? There are so many people who are in the beauty industry. They have done the best on Facebook, but not on Instagram. Some have done the best on Instagram, but not on Facebook. Know where your audience is.
Janet, tell us how businesses need to shift strategies or tactics to support new goals.
Right. When it comes to that, deliverables and KPIs, they're very important because they're just giving you some goals that you want to achieve or some directions, or these are the numbers that I want to reach. For me, it's necessary to have your digital strategy, right? But at the same time, you need to be aware of what is happening around you, what is changing. Digital changes every single day. Can you know what is changing in terms of the features, in terms of the algorithm? What, of course, have you updated your applications? Because that is another thing. If you're not updating, you're going to be left behind. So there are so many things you really need to do, but the major thing is be flexible. And that's why currently when we are creating strategies, we change them either daily or weekly, depending on what are the Google trends in our industry are like, what are people talking about the most, how is the weather, some things, even the weather affects the way we communicate to our audiences,
That is true.
But at the end of the day is, can you add that empathy? Because that is one of the major things we have been singing, talking about over and over again during this pandemic. Don't push too hard to sell. Show that you are talking to a person. Can you personalize the content? Can you speak to an individual? Can they read in between, like, yes, you are showing some empathy?
What investments are necessary for businesses today to create a technology environment that will allow them to strive in this new normal?
So what I will focus more is the tools. There are so many tools on social media, for social media and even all digital spaces that can make our work easier. Can you use them? If it's the analytics tools, can you check through? And this is where I usually say this, especially when it comes to analytics. Don't start posting on social media in a frequency that you're not very sure your audience is active. Monitor, try and error. Not everyone, not as much as we can say, okay, at 10 to 12, that's when most of the people are on social media. Who told you? Those are the people who usually come on your timeline at that particular time. Monitor your own brands. Can you see what is happening? When are people interacting with your content the most?
How do you think about talent? How do you even hire? Then two is some of the skill sets, either technical or soft skills that digital marketers need now more than ever in these COVID times.
I work with different brands, and during this pandemic, I've seen different brands decide to go do away with large teams of people because there's no money to partition through all these people. So they're looking at can you be multi-skilled? Digital is very easy to grow when you, as a personal brand, especially for a small business, you represent your brand. So you as an individual, if you don't have enough budget to get somebody in the team, use tools. There is Canva if you need to create some very simple graphics. And one thing I like about Canva is the fact that you don't need to spend a lot of time thinking. Just go pick a template and then add whatever you want to add. And of which, if you're not very sure if it's going to work, you can choose one or two people. Even Janet, you can send the graphic and then you ask, do you think this can work on my social media? And it will take like 2 seconds or 3 seconds to look at it and then tell you no or yes, So those are some of the things you need to look at it. And then something else, how are you representing your brand? People forget that people are constantly connecting people on social media. Behind Janet Machuka, there is a very big brand, by the way, like a company. But most of the time, people reach me first before they talk about the brand because I am the representative of the brand. I'm the one who talks about it. I'm the one who represents what we do. Can you be able to do that for your brand? So for the skills, it's good for an individual to know the soft skills, especially if you are the founder of something or a business owner of something. And if you are two people, a team of 3, the better. Because one day, what if that one day your graphic designer will be like, no, I'm done. I've got another job. I'm gone. Where will you start from? Can you learn some few tips on how to create content? Don't just leave everything to the person you have employed. Pick that opportunity to learn from them too, because this is how you're going to maneuver in case anything happens, in case you run out of the budgets.
All right, thank you so much, Janet. Guys, our hashtag is 42 days of digital marketing. Janet, thank you so much for sparing some time with us. It's been really insightful. There's so many things I think the audience on this call have been able to learn.